Hi, welcome to Fresh and Fit Kitchen. I'm Janelle, and I am your guide on this balanced and flavorful journey that we're going to take today. We are going to be making a honey-glazed salmon with a cucumber and blueberry salsa, as well as a broccoli and blueberry salad with a lemon vinaigrette dressing, and an appetizer of a watermelon caprese, also with blueberries. So let's get into it and see what we can create today. All right, we are going to work on our broccoli and blueberry salad today that will go with our salmon. So I've already gotten some chopped kale in our bowl. I just went ahead and cheated and got the pre-made bags of chopped kale. It's already washed for you. It's ready to go. It's a great time saver. We're going to use sunflower seeds, fresh blueberries, some goat cheese, dried blueberries, an apple, some diced red onion, and of course broccoli. So the broccoli we will need to blanch. That only takes about 2 to 3 minutes in your pot of boiling water. Once it comes out, we're just going to go ahead and drop it under some cold water. You're welcome to throw it in an ice bath, whichever you prefer. We just want to stop it from cooking. So then we are going to go ahead and also add some shredded carrots. You can shred your own carrots at home, or you can go ahead and buy the bags of shredded carrots that are already done for you. Again, another great time saver. So we're going to be right back, boil this broccoli, and then we'll get to chopping our onion. All right, we are back. Our broccoli is done. It really only takes about 2 to 3 minutes. What you're looking for is a bright green color. You want to keep the crispness to it, so you don't want to leave it in there too long. And like I said before, we are just going to drop it in some water to stop the cooking process. And now all we're going to do is cut off all these big stems that nobody wants to eat. It's hard enough to eat our broccoli anyway. And then we're just going to break it down into some smaller pieces and add it to our bowl for our broccoli salad. I like to just pick these right off. You are welcome to go ahead and cut. When I get to pieces like this, I will cut that big stem off, get rid of it, and continue to break it down into small bite-sized pieces. Anytime that I'm doing salads or anything really that I make, I like to think about what the bite size is, because that is what's going to make the party happen in your mouth. So then we are going to go ahead and just finish this off. This is a really easy salad. It comes together super easy. You can put it in the fridge, let it hang out, and become friends while we finish the rest of our dinner today. We're all about springtime, trying to keep it light, healthy, and fresh. All right. And the nice thing about this one is you don't have to have any mad skills, but it looks like you do when you're done. All right, our broccoli is all broken down. I just added it to that kale. Let's clean up our board here real quick. All right, and then we are going to break down our onion. Now we only need about 1/4 cup of chopped onion, but keep the onion because we are going to use it throughout the rest of our meal today. What I like to do when I'm cooking is make sure that I reuse ingredients across all the different dishes. It really helps the pocketbook and just makes your life easier because you're not wasting food either. So with our red onion, you always want to make sure you cut the top and bottoms off, peel the outside layers, get down into where you can peel a little bit of the edge without having any kind of weird, crusty, filmy stuff. It's a very technical term, by the way. All right, and so then we're just gonna go ahead and break our onion down into small bite-sized pieces. I don't use measuring devices very often. I go by feel and how much is in there in relation to the rest of my ingredients. So we're going to go ahead and scoop that up, toss that in there. That's about 1/4 cup, maybe a little more. But regardless, it looks good in relation to the rest of our stuff. So we'll take this red onion, we're just going to set it off to the side and use it in the rest of our dishes later. Then we're going to add sunflower seeds. You're going to do about 1/2 cup. That looks good to me. Again, blueberries, fresh. We're gonna do about a cup of those. And then we're also gonna add our dried blueberries. So this is about a 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup, depending on, you know, how much you like dried blueberries. Then we are gonna add an apple. You can use any apple, whatever's in season. I love the crispness of a green apple. And then you are just gonna break this down. My favorite trick with apples is to flip it over so that skin side's up. It gives you more stability when you go to cut. Then we are just gonna break this down again into small bite-sized pieces. Avoid cutting off any fingers and add that into your salad. Like I said, this is a super simple salad, comes together very quickly. And it can go and hang out in the fridge while we finish everything else. We're also going to be making a lemon poppy seed dressing next that will go over the top of this salad. You can really impress your friends by saying that you made your own vinaigrette. Now, if you don't have the time or confidence to make your own vinaigrette, please go and buy a lemon vinaigrette from the store. There is nothing wrong with that. Just look for any dressings that don't have a whole lot of funky oils in them. Try and find one that's as clean as you can find it. All right, then just mix that up a little with your hands. We're also gonna add a little bit of lemon zest. Zest is one of my favorite ways to brighten up a dish. And so you just have a grater. You can use a cheese grater, Parmesan grater if you have one of those at home, but they do have specific items for zesters. So then we are just gonna go ahead and zest 1 lemon. And when you're zesting, make sure that you only take the white out. We don't want you to go down into the rind of the lemon. That's when it starts to get really bitter and we lose the bright pop of flavor that the zest gives us. All right, now don't throw this lemon out because again, we are going to use it throughout our recipes today. Last is our shredded carrots. Go ahead and add those on top. And then again, we're just going to kind of mix that up. We will add the goat cheese as well. I always want to make sure that I don't do the goat cheese until our broccoli has cooled down. Otherwise you will get melted cheese and that's really not what you're going for in this dish. If you have any kind of dairy intolerance, just leave the goat cheese out. If you are not one who likes goat cheese, find a cheese you like. Feta is a wonderful substitute, as well as Parm. And like I said, you can just go no cheese at all. It's not gonna make or break your dish. The fun part about cooking is subbing ingredients for things that you like better, just to have the confidence to do so. All right, I'm gonna go wash my hands and clean up. We'll be right back and we'll make that vinaigrette. Okay, we are back and we are ready to make our lemon poppy seed vinaigrette that goes on our blueberry broccoli salad. So right here I have 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Just find a good quality. It doesn't have to be top shelf, but try and avoid bottom shelf. Anytime that we're doing vinaigrettes, we do want to have a nice full-bodied olive oil to work with. So this is 1/2 cup. Again, we're gonna come back to our lemon that we saved earlier. So we are going to be zesting the other lemon that I've got here into our oil. Again, that nice pop of flavor. And we are just going to take the outside of that lemon off, avoiding the rind, because that is the bitter part, like we talked about before. And I tell you, there is nothing like a fresh salad dressing to brighten up any dish that you're working with. The key to these, though, is they need to be used almost immediately. When you don't use ones that have preservatives and things like most of our bottled dressings that we find in the stores, they don't last. All right, so I learned this really cool trick and I couldn't believe how old I was when I figured this out. But rather than fight with cutting a lemon and all the seeds, cut yourself a little hole in the bottom and just squeeze the juice right out of that. Saves you fighting the lemon, saves you finding cuts in your hand, and it's just generally an overall cleaner process. So we're gonna do the juice of about 2 lemons. And again, we just did the zest off of 1. You're welcome to do more if you really like that lemon flavor. You know, kind of play with it. The great thing is you can add more, you can do less depending on what your personal tastes are. Just remember, it's always easy to add, but very difficult to take away. All right, there is our lemons. We are done with these. We've used all that we can use out of them. We are then going to do about 2 tablespoons of honey. All right, and add that in. This is our sweetener instead of using sugar. All right, and then just use a fork or a spoon to help kind of get the last of that honey into your oil. We're gonna do a pinch of salt. I don't use a lot of salt in my cooking. We really don't need as much salt as we put in our foods most days. Every vegetable, fruit has their own flavor. We just need to bring that flavor out. Then we're gonna do about a tablespoon of poppy seeds. You can find these in your spice aisle at the store. If you have an area that has bulk spices, I would say go there because you can buy just the amount that you need if you're not going to be using it very often. And then last is a tablespoon of Dijon. Any Dijon mustard is fine, whatever you have in your pantry. Most of these things we do already have in our pantry, which is why I like this dressing. So about a tablespoon. Again, you don't really have to measure. If you're good at eyeballing, eyeballing's just fine. Just taste it as you go. All right, and then we're just gonna stir that bad boy up. Again, nothing fancy, but see how easy that was? I mean, was that even 5 minutes? I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Okay, so then the key is just to give it a little taste, see if you want any more salt, any more pepper, any more lemon before we add it to our salad. To me, that's great. Now, I am not one that likes a ton of dressing. So what I'm gonna do is pour this over in a small amount, and then I'm gonna take the rest of it, put it in a little container in the fridge. That way we can offer it to our guests later if they do want more. All right. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go put this in the fridge, put the rest of this in a container. I'll be right back and we will start on our salmon. Alrighty, we are ready to work with our salmon. So I have about 24 ounces of salmon. This is based off feeding 4 adults for 6-ounce pieces per. A good rule of thumb with your protein is 5 to 6 ounces per person within your meal. Protein is one of the best nutrient dense items that we can have in a meal, so we really want to make sure that we focus on that and not skimp on it. This one is a wild caught, no color added salmon. It is really better for you to get the no color added. Steelhead is a wonderful alternative if you do not have salmon readily available. Steelhead is basically just a freshwater salmon. And so what I'm doing is just breaking these into 4 equal pieces. If you have a scale and you want to go as, you know, particular as that, go ahead and put it on the scale and try and get 5 to 6 ounces per, but really eyeballing it is just fine. It's just you, it's your friends, it's your family. We don't need to be that specific. Now, I do like to take the skin off when I'm baking it. If I was grilling it, I would leave the skin on. That way it doesn't fall through the grill while you're cooking. When you do go ahead and take that skin off, you're gonna go ahead and put it pretty side down, skin side up. You're gonna use your knife, make sure it's nice and sharp. get in underneath, put your hand on top as a protection and stability, and we're just gonna slide that through while we get that salmon skin off. Now, if you have cats, pets, go ahead and keep that salmon skin. Give it to them as a treat. It's great for omega fatty acids, and they will love it. My dogs definitely like it. If not, then go ahead and just toss it in a bag and get it outside garbage pretty quick, because nobody wants salmon stinking up their garbage. Really ruin your dinner party. All right. And then with this salmon, you know, depending on where you're at, you can put it in the oven. You can put it on a stovetop and just saute it up in a pan. You can grill it. Just really depends on what you've got available for your resources. Now, my idea with salmon is I keep it very simple, okay? So we are just gonna do a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some lemon zest. Once again, we're reusing those lemons. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my lemon zest and just pop that on each of the salmon. I love to just get creative when I cook. I don't like to measure, just do what feels good to you. Recipes are really just guidelines, you know, ideas, but get creative and make it yours. Just a pinch of salt. I have coarse sea salt here, but go ahead and use whatever you have. You can use table salt, you can use Himalayan salt, whatever strikes your fancy. Little black pepper. All right, and then we're gonna continue with our honey theme. We're gonna go ahead and just drizzle some honey over the top. And then we're gonna top it off with a little bit of balsamic glaze. And then what I'm gonna do is pop this in the oven. I've got an oven preheating to about 375 right now. We're gonna put this in there for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna check it after 10 minutes, take our temp, make sure that it's looking good. It really doesn't take long to cook. So let's go ahead and get this in the oven, and I'll be back and we will do our appetizer and our mocktail. Alrighty, so we've got our salmon back out of the oven. Remember, we just put a little bit of honey, balsamic, salt, pepper, lemon zest on top there. It is 145 in terms of temperature. That is the perfectly done salmon. If you plan to reheat the salmon at all, I would cook it to about 140. That way you don't overcook it on reheating. So next we are going to make our blueberry cucumber salsa that's going to go on top of this salmon. I like to use English cucumbers. You don't have to deal with peeling them. It's just a sweeter cucumber in my opinion, but they always come individually wrapped. So I'm gonna share my favorite trick on how to get this wrapper off really easy. So just cut right through the wrapper, cutting the ends off, dispose of those, and then just right down the middle, and there goes your wrapper. It's a lot easier than trying to fight that, trust me. All right, so with this cucumber, we are gonna break it down into some small salsa-like pieces. So you're just gonna kind of cut some lines through here. And then we're gonna come through and cut into our bite-sized pieces, just like you would for tomatoes for a regular salsa. One of my favorite things is finding different ingredients like cucumbers to replace the tomatoes. It's really good too if you have any kind of inflammatory restrictions within your diet. A lot of times tomatoes are a very inflammatory food, vegetable. And so by subbing things out like cucumber, then you can still enjoy salsa without your body revolting. All right. Now with this guy, you can make all kinds of adjustments. If you don't like jalapenos, don't put jalapenos in. If you love spice, put extra jalapenos in. If you like jalapenos but not a ton of spice, take the seeds out. Again, just make it yours. That is my motto when it comes to cooking. All right, so we will do our jalapenos next. Remember to always wash your hands when you are done with the jalapenos before touching your eyeballs. You will regret life if you don't do that. All right, and then just kind of a rough chop. With my salsas, I like rough chops. That's my personal preference. Add that bad boy in. I'm gonna do 1 jalapeno. Feel free to do more or less depending on your personal preference. Okay. Put that to the side. Remember that red onion that we used earlier? Here it's back again. We're gonna do about 1/4 of an onion, finely chopped. And in it goes. Again, more or less depending on your personal preference. Now we can add in our fresh mint. Mint with cucumber and blueberries is just fantastic. You're going to want to take the leaves off. We do not want these nice big stems in here. We just want the fresh leaves. We're also going to be using the mint later on in our appetizer, so just set whatever leftovers you have to the side. You will not need more than 1 package of mint from your local grocery store, farmer's market, wherever you prefer to buy your produce. I always like to support local produce or farmer's markets, anything like that, whenever it's in season and they're available. Rough chop that mint. Add that bad boy in. I think I did about 6 leaves. Sorry, again, I don't measure all the time. Go off a feel. And then we're gonna add in some basil. You can always add in cilantro as well. Cilantro would be a great substitute for basil, but today we're gonna keep it really different and we're gonna do basil. All right, just a tad more basil. And again, we'll use the basil in our appetizer. All right, guys, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, just a pinch of each. Feel free to add more if the mood strikes you. So with healthy eating, you know, it's just a daily mindful choices that you make in your food decisions. It's really not hard to make those changes. We'll add the blueberries. And then back to our lemons and our zest. We had a little bit of zest left on this, guys, so I'm just gonna use up the last little bit because I don't like to waste food. Neither does my pocketbook. All right, then this guy's gonna join the party. Look at all those colors. I absolutely love playing with colors. Did you know that we actually start digesting food when we look at it? That salivation is your digestion process starting. So that's why we need to make food look just as appetizing as it tastes. All right, and then we are going to add in our lemon juice. Again, we're going to do our little trick of cutting a hole at the bottom of the lemon, squeezing that on top. And that guy can go away. He's been fully used. And then we'll add in our second lemon. Set this to the side. Mix this up and decide if we want to add any more blueberries, if we want to add any more herbs. Okay, some of these guys are trying to escape. We're going to add just a few more blueberries. Again, more or less to your preference. All right, guys, so we are ready to go with our salsa. It is that simple. And we are just going to add it in to our salmon. So you can serve it like this, or you can take some, top it onto each piece. Let it fall how it falls. and then serve the rest of it alongside so everybody can add as they wish. All right, guys, so that is our salmon with our cucumber and blueberry salsa that has fresh mint and basil. Again, sub in cilantro if you'd like. Use jalapenos, don't use jalapenos, just make it yours. And we'll be right back for our appetizer. All right, and so what would a good barbecue with friends be without some kind of snack while we're sipping on our favorite cocktail, mocktail, whatever your poison is? Today we are going to do a spin on a caprese. Instead of using tomatoes, again, we're going to use watermelon. I just got a seedless watermelon from the store and diced it up into cubes. And we are just going to skewer. Get whatever size skewers you can find. If they're too big, cut them down. That's what I did here, is I basically just cut these in half. And then we are going to do blueberries, watermelon, some cheese, that mint that we were using in the salsa, and the basil. And then we're going to do another watermelon and some blueberries. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Just have fun with it. You know, if you want to do blueberries first, do blueberries first. Have fun, make it yours. Having too many rules in cooking just ruins all the fun. All right, and then these are just gonna go ahead and keep skewering. Just make enough for about 2 per, because you really want them to focus on the main meal of your salmon that's coming down the pike. All right, let's do watermelon after cheese. I'm gonna add in some extra mint on this one just because I feel like it, and another blueberry. Definitely try and get the bigger blueberries when you can. It's just not 100% blueberry season right now, and so we are just getting what we can get. They're still really good in terms of fruit. Springtime fruit, it's my favorite. All right, there we go. Some cheese, some more watermelon. I don't like that piece. And the bonus is that you can eat any of the pieces of watermelon that aren't fit for the skewers. All right. If you have kids, this is a really good project for your kids to do. That way they can feel like they're part of the team and part of making this, you know, meal happen. Kids tend to try new things if they get to put their hands in it and be involved. Doesn't always work, but at least it's worth a shot. And plus you get help in the kitchen and quality time with your kids. And like I said, all we want to do is make mindful choices every day to make something healthier, fresh ingredients. You'll be amazed at how your body thanks you. All right. And as you do this more and more, your confidence will grow. You'll be able to sub things out and come up with your own creations. We all got to start somewhere. When I first started cooking, I struggled to boil water. You know, boxed mac and cheese was a challenge for me. And one day I realized I had to be an adult and learn how to cook for myself. And I started taking chances and trying new things. And here I am in front of you, teaching you to do the same. All right, guys, I think we're gonna stick those together. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna top this guy off with a little bit of honey. Again, reincorporating all those ingredients we've used across the board for this meal today. And again, some balsamic glaze. And you can just tailor your skewers to however many you need for the amount of people sharing your table. And that'll do it for us today. Today we made a watermelon and blueberry caprese, a broccoli and blueberry salad with a lemon poppy seed vinaigrette, and a honey-glazed salmon with our blueberry and cucumber salsa. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that I've inspired you to take some risks in your culinary adventures. You can find full recipes, including shopping lists, on my website at www.hillskitchenidaho.com. Please make sure to follow and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more recipes. Until next time, be fresh, be fit, and keep cooking like a boss.